Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast episode here with us from Living with the Spirit. Today, we're catching up with Dr. David Berceli, who was here at a private retreat 6 weeks ago. And we're here to discuss a little bit about his experience and the cool things that we're doing with TRE nowadays. Hello, welcome back. Good to see
Thank you very much. It's always nice to be back with you guys.
How you been?
Oh, I've been doing very well, thank you. I'm still traveling and still having a lot of nice experiences, both internally and with the universe, but I'm doing well.
That's your life now, just traveling
Yeah,
and just following the flow.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So, yeah, you spent almost 2 weeks here alone with us. You were our only guest, and you were just deep diving into everything that we have going on, all the modalities that Simba is offering, and with Mark, and we were doing sessions with each other, and it was just a fantastic experience. We would like to hear how that was on your end.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I, when I think about it, as I was reflecting when I left there, I thought there were two very profound things that stood out for me. First of all of you have done your own inner work. That is absolutely primary to the success of any type of modality intervention. So if the people haven't done their own work, it's noticeable. And the opposite is also noticeable. When you have done your own work and you're providing interventions on other people, it's very clear. What I think that does is that establishes the paradox of both familiarity of safety as well as familiarity of professionalism. Now, that's a difficult combination for a lot of people to pull off. They can either be remarkably professional with the boundaries, or they could also be professionally friendly and competent with those boundaries. And that's the rarity, I think. And that's what I experienced there. Every time I did a modality that all of you were offering, I could feel within the first 2 or 3 minutes, you absolutely knew what you were doing. It was very clear. So it was very clear that I was safe, but then the relational aspect made it even more effective as an intervention because there was like a personal relationship with this remarkably professional individual. So that was my first experience or reflection on my experiences there. And that's rare. The other thing that I thought was really interesting is that the way you not just incorporated TRE into your modalities, but you had the vision of TRE, which means you were able to observe the body and then adjust your interventions according to the feedback that was being given by the body. Much of that was through the tremoring of the body, but it was also just through the way the body moved, or the way you could feel either the tightness or the softness, the flexibility or the rigidity. You were interacting with the body's response rather than simply doing interventions. And again, remarkably rare. It simply demonstrates a profound professionalism, but again, the professionalism was based on your own inner work. And that's what I found really unique about your place, honestly. And that's what I would recommend for everybody. It's a rare paradoxical experience. Even when we were not doing interventions, when we were just around, maybe talking around the table in the kitchen or relaxing, it also had a paradoxical experience with me. I felt I was with friends and family who were professionally competent in multiple fields. And so now you have, again, that professionalism, but it was the family atmosphere. It was friendly. So it helped me both let down and relax, as well as give into the interventions more easily. So you can see when we talk about paradox, and it's about humanity and organisms coming together, you really did manage to produce a remarkable combination of humanity with professionalism.
Thank you so much. That's very, very lovely. I love that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. I mean, that was my honest experience there, both while I was there and post-reflection. When I left there, I was wondering why did this center have more of a profound experience than many other places I've been to?
It's interesting because then we're not even talking about the modalities in specific, you know, it's more of the overall experience. And that's, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Was there any of the sessions or modalities or the combination? So what we did when you were here was that we were focusing on two things mainly. One was that we gave you tons of sessions and we combined TRE with a lot of different modules, like a lot of different other methods. And we will talk a little bit about that. But the other thing was also that we worked a lot with the physical intervention, like the hands-on interventions. And we did that by you receiving sessions and we receiving sessions and we receiving sessions from you and Simba, which was very, very, very interesting. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, the combination of the modalities, was it, what stood out with that? Was there something in particular that you felt was extra interesting?
Yeah, the modalities were wide ranging. So we did everything from Mark's sound therapy, where we're working purely with vibration and sound. And it was quite interesting because Mark has this amazing capacity to induce sound through the bowls that he had, and then watch the organism respond to those sounds. And then he began playing the sounds in synchronicity with the way the organism was moving. So it's almost like he was actually using sound, and the body was responding to sound. And then he would follow that response and then use a different sound, a different tone. And he did that for an hour. And it was almost like at the end, there was no separation between the vibration of sound and the vibration of my body. It's almost like they were in sync with each other while I was simply observing it. So there was a way that I was observing what was going on in my body, but my body was really what was taking up the resonance field of responding to sound. And they were synchronizing back and forth, almost like my body knew what sound it needed next, or Mark was able to observe what sound my body needed next. And so I was just an observer, even though I was the participant of the experience. That's
super interesting. How was that experience for you, Mark?
Well, I mean, I appreciate that feedback. That it makes me feel good that that was such a good experience for you. And you're right about the sequence of the events in the modality. It's using the sound to follow the organism. And it's very fascinating because it's similar to, in TRE, we do the same thing, but then using the sound as the way to provide those interventions. And I just love playing the bowls, so it's super fun for me.
Yeah, I think that's another quality too. You were remarkably professional, but in some ways you were playing. And so that takes that heavy seriousness out of it, and it invites somebody to let go of defenses or fears and engage in play with you. Even though that wasn't conscious and you didn't do it consciously, it showed up in the session. And that's what I think was very valuable. It just was all of a sudden, it was play and it was there. and everything was play. The sound was play, the body was play, you were playing, and the whole thing was like an orchestrated playing game with remarkable effects at the end of that. Almost like it all just kind of happened. And then at the end, you realized what you just were involved in.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring up that playfulness, because I remember we discussed that when you were here also, that the ability for us to go in and out between the heaviness of what we're actually doing, because we can go so deep with people and it can become so serious and real, you know, and you have to honor that, because it's something that's very important, and the depth of what the person is going through, but at the same time having that lightheartedness and the curiosity and the play, because if we get caught in the other realm, it becomes too heavy. We have to kind of go in and out of it, and stay with the gratitude, stay with the love for life and the playfulness and the experience and the adventure of it all. So
I think you said that really well. In trauma recovery, there's always some element of laughter or play or lightness that gets blended in. And if we as the clinicians are observant enough, we know when to do that so it's not offensive or in some way out of place. But also the client also enters into, when they know it's available and they're allowed, even just energetically, they don't have to consciously know it, you don't have to say anything. But when they can feel that there's a moment where they can laugh or giggle or feel something that's a little playful, even in the depth of recovering from serious traumatic events, that interplay automatically starts to happen. I think it's a very valuable piece for the recovery process, that we take density of trauma and we have a little bit of play go into it, or even a little bit of play come out of it, so that there could be laughter in a very serious therapeutic recovery process with individuals. And knowing how to do that and when to do that, or at least even having the attitude or the spirit of allowing that to be open and available, really changes the way the client or the individual actually participates in the interventions with us.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Simba, what was your favorite moment?
Oh, there was so many. It's hard to hard to remember. I think the stomach massage stood out a little bit when we did the stomach massage for you, and the responses you had, and you said, "Wow, this was remarkable, painful, but also." Yeah, I don't remember the exact words you used, but I think that was one of the things that stood out a lot for you. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that, the Chinasang, the stomach and organ massage?
Well, we did a number of different modalities together, and the stomach massage was one of them. And what was really cool about your capacity for your skill level was that you knew exactly how to go very, very deep, right at that edge of get off my body sort of feeling. So you went right there, and then you would pull out from there. And so when I say, oh, that one hurts, when I start to whine or moan, and you knew how to exactly just kind of take me out of that, but still have the effect of that. Now, the stomach massage itself is remarkable because none of us recognize the depth of tightness that's in the fascia and the organs and how tightly they're squeezed together, even when we're just under stress, not even under trauma, but lifelong trauma, those organisms get squeezed really tightly, and there's not enough flow and pulsation that happens in the abdominal region. And we need that for many different medical reasons that I won't go into. But you actually were able to feel and find the places where, oh, this is tight. Either it was physically tight, or because of your background and the skill level you have, it was energetically tight. So those are two different things. as the client at that point and being in touch with the energy field and the field of matter, it was quite interesting when you would say, oh, this is just energetic tightness or lack of energetic flow. I could sense, oh, that's right, although there was no physical tightness there. And then the opposite was true. You would go into places of physical tightness that I did not know existed. And so once again, we were playing back and forth between you and me, both the person who's administering the technique and me receiving it, as well as between energy and matter. To me, that's human interaction. That's how it should be. And that's exactly how you facilitated it to be at deeper and deeper levels, very, very slowly. So at the end, again, it was just humanness, participating with humanness, but it was very clear we were back and forth, and at times we were one, and at times we were separate. And it had a lot of laughter and play in it, but it was very serious work. So I appreciated it very much.
Yeah,
What,
thank you for that.
Simba, was this the session where I remember that you were trying around, that you were tremoring while you were doing body work? Was this when you did the Chinetsang?
It was one of the sessions. Yes, I was working on different points around this body. And then instead of trying to figure it out using my intuition, as I started to work on a area, if it was tight or if I felt this is an area I should explore a little bit more, I allow my body to tremor, and I allow my body to either go deeper or to move my hands in the direction which my body wanted to do. And that was quite fun and explorative, because it was started to move in ways that I probably couldn't figure it out mentally.
Yeah, that was another thing that I experienced with all of you, which was kind of fun, because we all know TRE and we're all comfortable in letting the tremor activate itself whenever it does. We constantly stayed in a place where we say, oh, my body just started to tremor. Now, we knew that meant something, and so we sort of followed that. So in some ways, in every modality, we were still using the tremor mechanism, whether I was receiving it and you were giving it, or I was giving it and you were receiving it. We were following vibration of the human body and then using that as informative way to take the next move or the next direction, trusting that the tremor mechanism was showing us something that was beyond consciousness. And that was very valuable too, to have a whole staff of people who both know how to activate the tremors within themselves, follow it in another client, but also notice that when they're intervening with another client, the tremor mechanism is still working in them to be able to inform them how to work with that body that's in front of them.
I mean, that's one of the coolest thing with TRE. I think that the communication between nervous systems, that you just know intuitively, it's very, very, very interesting.
Well, see, that's what Stephen Porges would just be adamant about. Our nervous systems are talking to each other. Really, what we're saying and what the ego is communicating is really secondary to the nervous system communication. And he constantly says we are a co-regulating species. In the modalities that you did on me, we actually lived or demonstrated, if you will, a co-regulating species without sort of the interference of the ego. And we just let things flow according to the way our organisms were co-regulating with each other.
Yeah, that's so cool. So what else did you guys do? Did you do the breath work with the TRE?
No, I don't think
No,
we
we
got
didn't
to
do
that
breath work.
point. We did a bit of a craniosacral as well.
Yes.
I remember we did more of not everything was hard and invasive and painful.
Right.
Some of them were
Oh,
more the
okay.
subtle touch.
That's another good point. We already talked about this, But again, we're just talking about paradox, and somehow the human life, the human organism, is nothing but this combination of paradox, which basically is balance. So and the balance was deep, tight, strong interventions when necessary and when the client can receive it. And then the remarkable lightest, gentlest touch, because the skin responds to gentle touch. And so we went back and forth between that whole realm of the organism and the depth and degree of tightness and touch or lightness and softness that it needed. And we moved back and forth between those very nicely, actually, and playing with them. And so that was one example, the cranial sacral, very gentle, almost imperceptible touch that would have profound effects on the organism that was being touched gently. So that was really a remarkable experience, because I think we did that one after we did some of the intense work. And it was like, okay, my body can't handle more intensity, but that didn't stop your staff or you, Simba, from saying, okay, if it can't take more intensity, let's go to the opposite side and let's do the lightest touch so that it can relax and let go and integrate both the intensity work as well as the safety of the light, gentle work. And that was a remarkable combination, so that literally you could do interventions every single day without exhausting the body or driving the body to a place where it starts to defend or protect itself because it feels something is too invasive. Because that would be hard to do interventions on participants in your center every single day, even twice a day, without knowing the balance of when do they need to pull back from intensity and depth, and when do we need to introduce them to light, gentle work, so that those two can work together in sort of the way that you were rolling out the week that I was there, and how much my body could receive and integrate, and this beautiful flow back and forth, where we went from light to a heavy touch. It was very nice.
I also felt that I had that I experienced that when I was receiving sessions from you and Simba together, that those sessions are longer, so you tremor for a very long time, and where both you and Simba observe the body, you follow the body, and then you make interventions where you see that the energy can't really move. So that's like the setup of the session. And I felt like we went in and out of the different intensities, and we were really following the body even in that setting.
Yeah. I love working with another professional, because you just have two different visions and two different sensations, all focused and concentrated on one organism. And so we could play back and forth, because I already knew Simba's strengths, and I'd say, I think this is what needs to happen next. Simba, you're good at this. Make this intervention. Or I would make interventions that I knew Simba didn't yet know about. And so I'd say, watch this. This is what I think is going to happen. So that we actually, again, were playing. You also, Sarah, you were conscious enough and able to participate in that play of the three of us. And so that, again, made all of us like we were all therapists and we were all clients all at the same time, learning from each other and yet informing and teaching each other, just through the way that our bodies were moving, our energies, our consciousness was facilitating this beautiful flow. And I think that collectively is what made it work so well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Very interesting experiences. I had a lot of personal development from them. But what would you say stands out with the way that Simba worked and his knowledge, when you were able to observe him so closely, working together with him on Meet, for example, as another, side by side? What is it that stands out with Simba and his knowledge?
Well, first of all, Simba, you're remarkably informed by many different body-based modalities. You're also informed by energetic-based modalities as well. And so when it was almost like completely easy, it was almost completely easy when I knew what skill level you had, and I'd say, here, make that intervention on her, use this particular technique, do that one that you did on me. That's what I think her body needs right now. And so there was such a strong competency in you that I knew immediately, oh, and then you would understand exactly what I was asking you to do and why I was asking you to do it. And so there was this nice, easy flow. And then I'd say, all right, now watch Simba, watch what I'm going to do and watch the results of it. And it's almost like you absorbed immediately into your realm of knowledge that you have and experience. You were able to absorb something brand new and fit it into that whole realm of knowledge that you already have almost instantly. Oh, I get it. So that you could eventually replicate that very quickly. And so it was like you stored that in your memory very fast. And we did that with several different interventions I made with you, like saying, watch this, do this, watch, this is pretty intense. Watch how light this is. And you just sort of absorbed it all, and then you put it in this whole realm of knowledge that you already have. And so you learned it very, very quickly, even in just the first time, and you were able to replicate it. Now that's the mark of somebody who's done their own inner work. And that's what's invaluable in all of this.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
How did these sessions stand out for you, Simba? What was your experience of working side by side with David, with the interventions?
Yeah, it was, I feel it was allowing me to come from a place, just like you said, that was playful and very in tune with the body. It's not figuring out what happens. I really felt that you taught me how to fully trust the other organism knows what it's doing, and following that, how can I facilitate this organism expressing itself, coming to life, and kind of reorganizing itself, right? Because life, as we know, many times contracts us and limits us, and we become alternative versions of ourselves due to stresses and pressure from people and traumas. But it really felt like like a dance, almost like a dance of nervous system, like you invited into, okay, would you like to do that? No? Okay, how about that? And it felt so free, right? It felt very liberating way just for me receiving it, sitting next to you, but then also learning how to do it for someone else, and then also receiving those sessions from you. It was very allowing and expanding without any pressure, like very inviting. And I feel that's really the transmission that I'm continuing to working. We recorded a lot of sessions. I watched them, I tremored and watched them, and so that's really the energy I feel I got from these sessions.
Yeah. And you, Mark, you received a couple of those sessions as well. What was your experience? And now when you're working side by side with Simba, hosting the same kind of sessions, what is your experience with the setup of this kind of session?
Well, firstly, I had what I would call a pretty profound experience, and
Please share.
well, the result has been that the way my body tremors has significantly shifted. So before, I was having a bit of quite strong tremors actually, and kind of like rigid body shaking. And in one of the sessions, David gave me this grisly ass bear hug and just squeezed me down. And in that moment, I had this emotional release. And as soon as that happened, it's like my body, the internal pressure just evened out, and I started to kind of have a balanced tremoring, and it's been with me ever since. So now when I tremor by myself, I have a pretty even tremoring all across the whole body. I still got a little tension in the front of the chest, but that's something we're working on. But it massively changed. I mean, it was really powerful. And so that on a personal level, it was a great experience. but then also, on a therapeutic level, learning how to hold space and to follow the organism and to really look at all the little micro gestures and the little tiny changes in the body to better understand where the flow of energy is happening. And so now Simba and I are working together to deliver these sessions where the two of us are looking at the body, and we've started to develop our own little language where we kind of like look and point and, hey, did you see that? Did you see that? Offering each other suggestions. And we're a great tag team now because of your help, teaching us this process of working with more than one person. So it's been a fantastic learning experience and a great personal experience for me.
Yeah, it's really been extraordinary. They continue to do those sessions for me now every week.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I think that's great, actually.
Yeah, that's it. I feel a difference every time from every session.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And also we're offering it to all our retreat guests.
Yeah.
Every week they get a 2-on-1 long
Yes.
retreats. Yeah. And
I think
people are
that's
having
amazing.
extraordinary. Yeah.
Yes, because most people don't ever get that. They might have one-on-one therapeutic recovery processes, but to have two people who are grounded and really remarkably refined to observing the human body work together, it just builds a stronger energetic container of safety and competency, which the client can actually let go into to a greater depth than what they normally are capable of doing, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the session is longer. There's more safety. There's more support. I mean, it's a very, very, very interesting setup. And it's so interesting that we instantly decided to do a retreat. We have to share this to people.
Right, exactly. Because at this point, again, what all of us always need is just watch one more body tremor, one more experience, because now we learn or we develop depth of our professionalism and our insight and our vision, our intuition. We only do it now by repeating it over and over and over. It's not about learning more theory. It's about having more experiences.
Yeah.
And so because the foundation is already there of professionalism and insight, the client already knows they're being held safely.
Yeah.
That's not the issue. But we're still learning when we are able as a pair to guide a client together to keep going deeper and deeper, then that's part of our learning process as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we really had truly profound experiences when you were here. They were so interesting. So the four of us were sitting down and like, how can we do this? And then we decided that November, which is the last month we're ever doing retreats here at the farm, we dedicated to the TRE deep dive, so to speak, into the combination of different modalities, but also working with these hands-on interventions. So we're setting up a 5-day retreat for TRE providers and certification trainers, or people who have like a lot of TRE experience to teach this.
I think, in all honesty, that's a wonderful idea, because I already know a number of trainers or providers around the world who would love to have a 1-week intensive experience on themselves to actually go into their own depth better. And because they're very sincere people who want to develop themselves personally, and they know that personal development is what produces a better professional development. So I believe there's a lot of people in the TRE community that would love a 1 week where the energy is focused on them rather than them having to focus their energy on other people.
Yeah. I mean, since it's only 4 in each group, everyone will learn how to do it, but also receive it, because it will be such a small and exclusive setup. So everyone will walk away with, I mean, just doing this for a week, I mean, it's going to be, wow, it's going to be extraordinary.
Yeah, I thought that the modalities that I experienced with all of you, although you are technically and professionally far more advanced in some of those modalities than I am, you were able to say or demonstrate, just do this little piece, so that the TRE people can actually start to gather their little toolbox of new interventions or new ways of seeing or new hands-on experiences where they can both give and feel safety happening. And so they can't know as much as you know in the depth of the modalities you've all studied from, but they can take one little piece from each of those modalities and incorporate it into their own TRE practice at this point to be able to improve their interventions and increase their knowledge of interventions when they're working as a TRE clinician or trainer.
Yeah, exactly. And also what I'm doing on a business level is that one of my specialties is to help people combine their different modalities. And the TRE is like, I mean, it's the one that goes with everything. So people are also able to come with their specific type of modality or the way that they work and get some support in how to incorporate the TRE or the just the knowledge about the nervous system into whatever they are already doing. So it's also enhancing the it's like you become a better provider or a better therapist because you learn what to look at and how to do and how to integrate all the other things that you're already doing, even though they're not on the menu for what Simba is teaching. They will have the opportunity. Yeah.
The way they'll learn it, which is the best form of learning, is that they will experience it and say, wow, that was really powerful for me. How did you do that? Or why did you know to do that? So that they then can repeat that intervention on another client when it's necessary to do that. But they got the knowledge of how to do this from the experience of it. And that's very different because they will retain that. It will remain with them, and they will know how and when to produce that same intervention on somebody else. So that's very valuable, I think, in terms of this give and take that we experienced. I showed you things and you showed me things, and that increased my skill level as well of just knowing, oh, I've never made that intervention before. It felt wonderful. I know why and when he made it. And now I understand how to reproduce that when I'm working with somebody else in TRE. And so that's, in one sense, it's kind of fun. They're going to come there both as a recipient of new modalities, but they're also going to leave there after having done their own inner work with some skills and some new techniques that they've never used before, which they can now incorporate in their own TRE process.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very innovative. Innovation is the word that I feel when I think of these retreats, because we have 3 weeks with 3 different groups. So there's 4 people in each week. So there's 3 options of dates, but every group will be completely different because we always follow the organism. And in this case, the organism is a group of 4. Right. So that journey, it will be this playful, explorative. I mean, what we discussed in the beginning of this conversation, this playfulness and the curiosity, and that we just follow what goes on, and one group will have one sort of interest, one group will have, so it's almost like it's a 1-week workshop where it's like the dance of the different modalities and the reactions and where the bodies are taking us.
Yeah, I think the participation of people who come there will be really wonderful because they will both be experiencing growing together as a group, but also having all their own individual sessions. And they're all going to be completely unique because they're all in different places. Their bodies are in different places. We're all in different places in our journey of life. So they'll have their individuality and their collective experiences as well. And again, there's the paradox of combining both of those. And I think that's really wonderful. When we're in the paradox of life and we're both operating from both extremes and everything in between, I think that's humanity.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. What do you have to say about these upcoming retreats, Simba?
Yeah, I think we said a lot. We covered a lot already. I think one of the things that is we maybe didn't touch upon was something that Mark mentioned a couple of times when we did sessions, and that is just to be witnessed, right? Sure, we do the interventions, you get their own inner work, but a lot of shame and a lot of trauma actually comes from people looking at you in a different way when you have certain experiences. So when you come out of those experiences and there's 4 or 5 other people watching you, cheering you on, and holding space for you, it does something. Even if you don't do all these cool interventions and all this stuff, just being witnessed by the body expressing itself, coming out of freeze, coming out of shame, coming out of shutdown responses or deep-rooted stress, and being witnessed and held in that, I think that was one of the main things that would make me even want to go to a retreat like that, because that is very powerful and it's very unique, and you don't really get that unless you do something similar to this. So I think that is one of the aspects that I'm looking forward as well, just to be a part of that and be able to create a space like that.
Yeah, it's the humanness again, you know, the community coming together, being like a family. It's all of that energy. Yeah, so if anyone is curious to know more about these once in a lifetime at the farm experiences, we have 3 different start dates. It's November 10, November 17, and November 24. So you can go to livingwiththespirit.com and you will find more information. And if you want to chat with us about it, or you have more questions, you just reach out to any of us. It could be on any platform. But we have more fun. It's all things TRE here at the farm nowadays. We're also launching this month. Mark is launching TRE for Men's group.
Well, Simba and I are going to be doing it together, but yeah, we're launching a TRE for Men's group, and the goal is really just to provide a space, and it's free. So any man who wants to tremor with other men and explore the depths of TRE, the nervous system. And I think men really need to, like Simba mentioned earlier, that witness aspect. They need someone else to kind of mirror to them what's happening in their nervous system so that they feel safe, so that they can talk about these things. And so we'll be exploring TRE in different ways, and we'll be inviting men from all over the world. And I'm really looking forward to it, because we've been in a few containers with men, and it's just a need in the world right now. Men need the healing just as much as everyone else, and we're here to bring it to them.
That's great. So if you want to know more about that, you can either reach out to Mark directly, or also tune in to livingwiththespirit.com and find everything under online services. And then Simba is launching the next cohort, the TRE provider training program, and also module 1.
Yes. So we have a module 1, a 2-day training coming up online in August. And we're also launching the 1-year program for becoming a TRE provider in October. And it's both of them are very exceptional opportunities, right? I like the module 1 because you can come in and you can just immerse yourself several hours with equal-minded people. And I just see, the first couple of half an hour when I do a training like this, people are like, what is this? I'm not sure. And gradually they start to relax and everyone enters into this group vibration. And sometimes people come back just for that. They say, I'm not sure why I'm coming to this classes or to this training, but I spend a few hours with you and things starts to shift. So I think it's a very unique way of delivering trainings, right? So the module 1 is really for you to do an immersion into TRE, get to know yourself, get to know the tremors, get to know your work, David, and where it comes from, but also so you can continue exploring it on your own. And the 1-year program is really if you want to become a provider, and you can start to teach it in one-on-one sessions and groups, and that you can spread this right beyond and allow more people to have the benefits of TRE.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you came and visit us, David. Just see what happens. All of the sudden, there's just flying out TRE
Well,
courses.
it was a beautiful pleasure because I actually just wanted to come and see Simba because he's a trainer and I wanted to support the TRE community. But then when I got there, I found all these other people, lovely experiences. And I thought, well, this is a lot of fun. Let me just dive into this. And it was a great experience for me. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, we're super happy to take TRE for us to the next level because we're using it. So we're just exploring it. I think we all use it in different ways. I mean, I do so much TRE on my own, combining different modalities and really opening up my body in a very, very deep and profound way, which it's interesting because you say that we do so much work, and then this is such a powerful tool that we all use on such a deep level, and the way that you can open up the body by yourself. I mean, when I start to open up at the crown of the head and you feel it cracking inside the head, and then you feel energy moving inside, then you go like, all right, this is real, this is deep, this is happening. And I can feel the transformation in real time. It's like I can feel my energy bubble expanding. I can feel my consciousness expanding. I can feel everything just relaxing. So I'm ecstatic about this. I think it's so much fun. Thank you so much for everything.
And thank all of you. I think you're onto something really big about the way you've been able to incorporate the tremor vision into your different modalities and then use them both in a very integrated manner. It's very unique and original in the world right now, in the TRE community even. And in that sense, the TRE community could really learn a lot from the groundwork that you're doing in terms of including the tremor mechanism in other modalities.
And it's fun, playful.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
All right, any final words, Mark?
The one thing I wanted to mention really quickly is that David and I also had a really fun sword fighting experience, and I think it was his first time to ever do something like that. And you know, that's also a very playful experience. So you can expect more of that kind of playful things as well as the deep therapeutic things that we do. And it's that paradox that we've been talking about so much, between the playfulness and the seriousness.
Yeah,
we did the sword fighting intervention, which was a lot of fun. People, don't worry, these weren't real swords, so we weren't in danger at all. But it was remarkable how much emotion that simple play back and forth was able to bring up in a way that in a way that it doesn't bring up with other modalities. I was really surprised by it. And then the other thing I was very surprised by, Mark, which I enjoyed immensely, excuse me, what is that other technique that you used on me when we went to that room and you turned down the lights and you did this modality on me? What was it called?
Oh,
it's a treatment called the low band pi energetic treatment, and it comes from our spiritual teacher Luhan Matus, and it has lineages back to like Tibetan style. But it's a very deep energetic massage, which is shaking the whole body and really like grabbing into the fascia, working the lymph, working the blood, working the fluid, working the muscles, and also working the entire energetic body from head to toe. So it's an experience unlike any other. And so we can't really compare it to like a Thai massage or like a shiatsu. It's super unique and special.
I will second that. Isn't it? It's an experience like no other. I was stunned. I was delightfully pleased with it. I had never experienced anything like this in my life before. And I thought, this is so rare and so original and so unique. And I thought, wow, this exists on the planet. Here it is. I'm experiencing it, and I've never heard of it. That fascinated me at how profound of an experience my body was able to have just because I trusted you and I let go into the experience. But my body was able to move and experience this intervention in ways that it's never experienced any other intervention at all. And so I thought that was so original and so unique. It's worth just coming to experience that, because the body kind of gets surprised. It's like, wait, what's going on here? But because you were safe enough, the body was able to give into it and let that surprise just really come into the body. And then my body just let go and let you do whatever it is you did. The ego had absolutely no idea what was going on. It was completely confused, but that was actually valuable because you were working both energetically and with matter. Again, it was that interplay between the two. And so my ego could kind of sit on the side, just watch this thing and say, this is bizarre. But my body and my energy was saying, this is profound. So I really enjoyed that intervention as well.
I love the way that you explain it. I mean, it's the most phenomenal experience that I've ever had. The first time I experienced it, I knew that my body has been waiting for this my whole life. Every time I go have a massage, this is what I wanted and didn't get. And now I got it. And I love how you explain it. For me, it feels like the nervous system just becomes checkmate. And then the ego goes, and then there's this trust and the safety, and then something just opens up that is extraordinary.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was quite a remarkable experience. I loved it because I had absolutely no idea what you were doing. But my body was responding with, yes, this helps me. And that was delightful.
Yeah. Yeah, so if anyone's interested in that, then you can come for the retreats. We have spots in August and September and October. Or you can show up next year where we will be hosting trainings in this. So you can come and learn how to do it. So if this is, you know, something is sparked, if you listen to this and you're interested in the Luban Pi, you can just reach out to us and we will will give you more information.
And Dave, come back
Right.
and do another one whenever you're
Yes, that's on my list of things to do. So don't be surprised if I show up at your doorstep someday and say, shake the hell out of me.
And I'm not talking TRE.
Right.
Yeah, I just love it. Let's take it from kick bike, like I told you, right? Like TRE is gonna be used like a kick bike, and let's just make it the rocket ship that it is. Just let it take off.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you all very much. It's a pleasure to see you again, and blessings on your workshops. I know anybody who's listening, you should go to this. It's going to be profound and transformative, both personally as well as professionally for the TRE person.
Okay, I'm gonna give if you're listening to this podcast and you're coming to the TRE retreat, if you mention this podcast when you book, I'll throw in a Luban Pi massage from Mark if you book before the end of August. I just threw in an extra early bird price. So bookings before end of August, you get one of these incredible experiences with Mark. Extra cherry on top.
Right.
Yep. That just made the whole thing even more interesting, if that was even possible. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
All right. Best of luck on your travels. I hope you continue to flow with the universe, and that the universe presents you with magical experiences, and that we see each other soon again.
Yes, we'll see each other again. Thank you so much, everybody.
You.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.